I'm Sarah Cancan from Con University, where you can be anything you dream. Thank you for joining me today for a special episode on the Count Network. Today we'll be discussing Caderousse, the Treasury, and the Greed. Using artifacts from our university's highly acclaimed history department, we will be retracing the steps of the successful revenge of Edmond Dantes on the villain Caderousse. Here comes the first artifact now. The map that exchanged hands between the wicked Benedetto and the greedy Caderousse. One can see the Count's Champs-Élysées house down to the last detail. We will now bring in our cartography expert, Mary Douglas of Monte Cristo University. So Mary, could you outline this fascinating exchange?
Why, yes, Sarah. At the time, Benedetto was operating under the alias Andrea Cavalcanti. Caderousse was in desperate need of money, and Cavalcanti was quick to suggest the Count of Monte Cristo's house. This map was drawn by Cavalcanti himself, compelling Caderousse to steal the Count blind. Here we see the detail of both stories, as well as even an escape route. An amazing artifact. Back to you, Sarah.
Sounds quite fascinating indeed, Mary. Thanks for the insight on this artifact.
A cartographer can map out anything and almost everything, so if you need any more help, just come to me.
So, can you please help us understand this next artifact? Baptistin, one of the Count's many loyal servants, delivered this urgent letter to the Count. It reads, "The Count of Monte Cristo is hereby warned that man will break into his house tonight in order to steal some papers, which he believes to be locked in the desk in the dressing room. A large number of people or obvious precautions would cause the thief to postpone his plans and make the Count of Monte Cristo lose an opportunity to discover an enemy whom chance has revealed to the person who gives this warning, a warning which he may not be able to repeat. After all your other studies of the Count, you must know how the Count reacted."
Yes, Sarah. The Count was a bold man, so, of course, he thought that this letter was an attempt to warn him of a minor threat, while posing a greater one. However, this letter may have been from one of his many personal enemies. Wondering whether he should take action, he asked Baptistin to bring all of his servants back to his house in the country, leaving the Champs-Élysées house wide open.
This was the perfect opportunity for the Count and his servant Ollie to sneak into the house and investigate the robbery. Here we are. Thank you very much. I didn't even have to ask. This is the very doorknob from the Count's desk. Now to our furniture expert, Mary Douglas.
This is the very handle off the Count of Monte Cristo's desk. One wonders why he would invest in such a flimsy product where the handles fall off, but that is neither here nor there. One can picture the dark night falling, the shadows long, and a sliver of the moon shining through the window. The Count saw our thief Caderousse and began his plan of action for revenge.
Ooh, the chills down my spine. All the little hairs on my neck are standing up. The Count at this point became a master of the quick change. Whiskey now? A wig. Oh, thank you very much. You're just so kind. He transformed himself into... Well, I think our vaudeville expert should take this one, Mary.
With this very wig, the Count transformed himself under the cloak of night into the Abbé Busoni, the priest who had visited Caderousse with the diamond that sent his life down the tubes. The Count confronted him, and Caderousse recognized the Abbé and was forced to regale him with his life of crime. For, dear audience, our Caderousse was an escaped convict.
Ooh, well, it'd be unlike Caderousse to confess any wrongdoings without throwing his partner under the bus. Cavalcanti became a very interesting topic for the Count as Caderousse explained how Andrea followed him through prison. This note ensued.
On this note, one can see the maniacal handwriting of an escaped convict. He scrawled out, "Monsieur Danglars, the man whom you take into your home and whom you plan to make your son-in-law, is a former convict who escaped from the prison of Toulon. He called himself Benedetto then, but he himself does not know his real name, never having known his parents." At this point, Caderousse, being completely freaked out, begged the Count to share what God has in store for him. The Count assured him that he would let Caderousse leave, but if Caderousse made it home, he would have God behind him. With these reassuring words, Caderousse jumped as quickly as he could out the window and into the night.
Oh, what a cliffhanger! On that note, we will now pause for these important messages from Chateau d'If Cruise Lines.
This is Douglas Bean telling you about an amazing opportunity. Do you like solitary confinement? Enjoy darkness and dankness? Well, if you answered yes to any of these questions, then please join for a fun-filled week-long cruise to the Chateau d'If, the prison that the famous Dantes once dwelled in. Imagine being imprisoned in the very same cell. What a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. All it takes is 20 purchases of $39.99. What a deal. So come along and cruise with us to your paradise of solitary confinement. Chateau d'If Cruise Lines.
And now back to our show. If you're just tuning in, the Count as Abbe Busoni has just foiled Caderousse's robbery and has allowed him to leave unharmed with the knowledge that if Caderousse makes it home alive, God's will is with him. Here comes our next artifact. A knife. I wonder what this has to do with anything. Now to our weaponry expert.
Well, Sarah, as many of the viewers may not remember, Andrea Cavalcanti, aka Benedetto, is waiting outside the Count's house as Caderousse's partner in crime. However, Andrea gives quite a stab in the back to Caderousse when, in the darkness, he stabs him 3 times. 3 times, my friends, with this very knife. Still barely alive, Caderousse calls the Count and Ali, who bring him inside to die.
Whoa, talk about backstabbing friends. However, the Abbe was more generous than one might think. This vial contains the liquid the chemically inclined Count dripped down Caderousse's throat. This artifact calls for our special poison expert, Douglas Bean.
The Count had a way with poison. With 1 drop, he could save a man's life, and with 2, end it. Prompted by Caderousse's righteous attitude, the Abbé lectures Caderousse on all his wrongdoings in life. As Caderousse was laying on his deathbed, Busoni asked him to repent all his sins. Yet, Caderousse did not believe there was a God for him.
Thrilling, what a way to go. We will be returning to Mary Douglas to finish the story for us.
Of course, Sarah. Knowing the Count's thirst for revenge, it was no surprise when he ripped off the wig and asked Caderousse that if he would not repent, to just look closely. The dying man lay there confused. He saw the Count of Monte Cristo, the Abbé Busoni, and the Englishman, Lord Wilmore, all in one person. The Count instead whispered the last words Caderousse would ever hear. I am Edmond Dantes. Caderousse raised his hands, now believing there is a God, repented, and died.
You've been watching Caderousse, the Treachery and the Greed on the Count Network. I'm Sarah Can, and please join us next week for the exploitation of Count de Morcerf. And remember your destination, Chateau d'If Cruise Lines.